Hi everybody. So I'm getting ready to do some more sewing. Today we're going to learn how to do our own bias tape, which will be great. Let's get started. So I got my fabric out here and I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out a decent size piece here for our bias. And I'm going to go ahead and just do a square because I think that will be fine. So what I want to do is I'm going to lay this out really good. And I'm going to go ahead and spread it out really nice so it sticks really good to my muslin here. Okay. And it's kind of cool because, like I said, it's already got these grid lines on it, so I can really, measure everything out and make it all nice. So let's see how tall we have here. If I do 20 by 20, I'll probably be good. So let me get this up on there just a little bit. And I'm going to follow all these lines down here. Let's see here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fire the edges here. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. So I've lined it up on the edge of my my table to give me some stability. And all I'm going to do is just get as close as I can right where I start seeing it kind of start to fuse. Just barely here. So I don't have to touch it. I'm just right on the edge, and it has some heat, so just like that. And I love the idea too. Someone on the forums had the idea of using a tea candle, because a tea candle you can have something to sort of support yourself as you're, basically you just take your fabric and run it over the tea light, and you can get as close as you want and kind of keep that same consistent distance. I really like that idea. I don't have it set up yet, but I'm definitely going to try it. So, but anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'll fuse all the edges and then I'll start marking my lines. So I've got everything all cut out, and I went ahead and I fused the edges with my fire. So that's good. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark my first cut here, which will be corner to corner. With my chalk line here. Okay, so now I will go ahead and I will cut along this line, and then I'll fuse those as well. I went ahead and I cut it out, but I need to fuse these edges, and one of the things that I want to do before I fuse them is I want to mark these so that way I know where they go together. So I'm going to put a mark here, I'm going to put a mark on this one, and I'm going to put a mark on this one. That way when I know when I lay them back together, I'll remember which side goes where, which sides are up, how it all works. So now I have both pieces cut out along the bias line, 45 degrees. So now what I do, the first thing I need to do is I need to see which is going to be my outside fabric, outside of my fabric, and which is going to be towards the inside of the fabric. So I'm going to use the same rule of thumb where I do the shiny side, which is this side, is going to be the outside fabric. Okay, because that's going to play on how I do these seams. Okay, so what I do is I take this piece and I move it up here. Now, because I'm using, this is going to be the inside, this is going to be the inside, okay? This is going to be outside. So what you want to do, remember, put like sides together. So basically, I'm going to create a seam here, right? And I want the seam to be towards the inside. And so this is an inside, this is an inside. The outside pieces are facing down. So just like on a shirt or whatever, you have your seams on the inside of your shirt, right? So what you want to do is put like sides together. So we're going to put this side, which is like this side, together. So all you do is you just take both pieces and you just pull them up just like that, and voila, and you create something that looks a bit like a bishop hat. So now, a little note on how you line this up. So what you want to do is figure out what's the width of your seam that we're going to do. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch width on my seam here. So if I do that, it's going to line it up to about there. So what you do is you pull this little tab out, and until it intersects with the 1/2 inch, that's where you want your seam to be. Okay? And I'm actually going to go ahead and pin this, even though I don't like pinning. I want to pin this first one just so I make sure I get it exactly right. Okay? And then the rest of it will flow from there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over and get it stitched on up. Okay, I wanted to go ahead and show you how I have this lined up. So it's a little bit different than what we've been doing, because we're just doing a normal seam here. So what I have here is I've got my little needle right here, and I've got it lined up on the first, actually it's the second mark out, which is my 1/2 inch mark. So as I sew, I'm actually not going to watch the needle so much as I'm going to make sure that I'm lined up on that 1/2 inch mark there. So it's the second one out. The first one in is 3/8, 1/2 inch, and then 5/8. So I'm going to stick on the 1/2 inch right there. Okay, so we've gone and we've done our stitch all along here. And now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and press this open, because it makes it lay really nice and flat and straight if we do that. So what you do is you go ahead and put it down, and then we're going to go ahead and push this open like that, and we're going to iron right along here. Today what I'm doing is I'm focusing on figuring out where I'm going to do my cuts. So I'm actually doing a 1/2 inch bias tape around the edges, which means I have to do 2 inches wide because of how it all folds together, which I will show you later. But basically what you do is you fold the sides in, so figure you just fold this side in and then roll over, and that's what you sew. So I have to cut them out in 2 inch wide increments. And so what I did was I went ahead and marked where my line's going to be. And now what I'm doing is I'm using both Ramblin' Rev and G-Hawk had some great ideas. So G-Hawk had the idea about the fire on a tea light, which was great. And then Ramblin' Rev actually said that he uses clear nail polish, which I thought I would try. And then some others also recommended Fraycheck, Ramblin' Rev being one of them, also recommended Fraycheck. So I'm going to try both and see what happens. So what I did was I've marked where I'm going to be cutting, and now I'm going back over and I'm laying out my clear nail polish on this one, and I figured I'd do part of it with the nail polish and part of it with Fraycheck, and then that way we can see as I field test it how they both hold up, which they should both hold up just fine, so according to everybody, so that's good. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and get it cut out. First I'll do the nail polish, and then I'll let it dry, and then I'll cut it all out. So I'll see you guys in a while. So, yes.